Hello, and welcome. We're back. This is Voorhees Tiger Vision. We're here for season 3. Our head men's basketball coach, Coach Cabral Huff. Coach, how you doing?
I'm great, man. It's always a good time here in September. You know, you're busy watching your guys get better off the court and spending time going different places, going to recruit, uh, trying to get better as a staff. You know, learning new things. So it's a great time, man. Great time here in Denmark.
Always love September, man. Trying to as we jump into our HBCU coverage, of course, started here with Voorhees, but as we've been expanding our HBCU coverage, I'm always most interested in discussing how basketball works from a calendar perspective, right? Like there's so much going on that people don't understand that and the time that it takes to put out a quality product in October, November. A lot of that happens, April, June, July, September is one of those time periods. Coach, just kind of educate our fan base, man, on what happens this September, you guys being able to get out and get to these high schools and watch workouts and things like that. And talk about this September period and how you have used it over the years.
Man, it really goes back to whenever your season ends, what are you doing? You're looking at your recruiting board. You're looking at who's graduating, who you possibly may lose off your roster, trying to evaluate what you may need, finishing up that class that's coming in maybe, and getting ready for the next class that's coming in. So for us, we were finishing up our 22 class in April and May. We were also looking ahead, going out, getting early looks at guys for 23, 24.
May have lost you a second, Coach. We'll give Coach a chance to join back. Give me 1 second.
The day is here. The time has arrived. Fall 2021 move-in day. Welcome to Voorhees College. Fall 21 welcome week. My name's Cameron McLean.
We had to go back to Cam. I think we lost you for a second, Coach.
Hey, man, I apologize on that.
We back. But you were talking about wrapping up the recruiting class from last year, and then as you start, what your thoughts were on this year's recruiting class and how you were going about building that class.
Yeah, it really just goes back to ending that class from last year, figuring out what you're going to finish with 22 based off who graduates, who may be possibly leaving. You're finishing that in April and May. Then you're beginning to look at who you're looking at for 23 and 24. And then your guys on campus getting better in the weight room. And that's a testament to Sean Roundtree, our strength and conditioning coach. Our guys got better in that weight room after the season. You can see you're going to see a remarkable difference in them. That's a testament to him. That's a testament to what we did here at Voorhees and redoing, revitalizing, revamping, redoing our whole weight room under the direction of Dr. Calvin Williams. And our guys have been blessed to be in there a lot after the season and right now before the season. You get to June and July, you're watching high school team camps. We did a lot in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. You're going to AAU stuff. And then you narrow down your guys who you want to see right now in September. Now that they've started workouts at their high schools, you've got a lot of exposure camps going on. And then as you get to the end of September and the beginning of October, it's a lot of the JUCO jamborees that you go to. So it's not a lot of time for the weary. And then you add in that you got to have practices and all that. And so here we are.
Here we are. Yep. I will give coaches a secret. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of juice to get in there in September or to know which schools you're supposed to look at in September. And Voorhees University is such so blessed anyway to have somebody that hey, gets those phone calls of, hey, coach, man, I got a kid, right? Or
you will be surprised, man. We get it a lot, man. Not just from Georgia, we get it in South Carolina, and it makes us three as a staff, myself, Coach Williams, Coach Zach Bradford, our new guy on staff. It makes us work that much harder, of how we got to get out and how we got to work. But we're blessed to be able to do it, man. We're blessed to get out and see some of these kids, giving them opportunity. As we tell kids sometimes, your opportunity may not come from Voorhees. I may be able to make a call and say, man, I saw this kid. He doesn't fit us. It's not a position we need, but you need to go recruit him. And it happened just the other day on Monday. I was at a school, and I saw a kid who he just stood out. And I was there to see another kid that we're recruiting, but this other kid stood out, and I just had to make a call to another coach and say, you need to get on this kid right away.
Hey, man, that's how it works. The basketball community is a very small community, but Coach, let's talk about what you're looking for in recruiting, especially, does it vary from, live period in July to what you may be looking for in September? Tell us what types of kids you may be looking for. What are some of the things that you look for when you walk into a gym in September?
Usually by the time you get to September, and this just doesn't go for us at Voorhees, but I've been at the Division I level, you've kind of locked in on your guys that you want, whether they've come from elite camp like we've had, or select camp, or whatever come from where you watched AAUIs or camps, and high school camps in June, and even the camps in April and May. So we have compiled a list of guys that we want to see to break down our recruiting board. Usually around this time, you're creating priorities of who you want. But every year that can change depending on how many you have to bring in, what positions. So certain positions are more of a necessity than others, where you can wait. And in this new age right now, you've got to understand parents, players, that there could be a position where a coach or a coaching staff may want an older player. Here at Voorhees, we're not afraid to recruit freshmen. But I will also say that we do have certain positions where there could possibly be, we need an older guy, a JUCO guy, or maybe a transfer guy. And it's just a balance that you have to play. So if you are a parent and you're wondering about recruiting right now, and you're asking yourself, well, we went through this AAU season. We played in June in our high school camp, and all these coaches came out to see us, right? And we had a young man on campus today who hopefully will become a Tiger. But we told him, like, a lot of people can offer you throughout the summer or whether it was the spring, but who are you talking to now? Who's coming out to see you now? If you haven't had constant communication with them and they haven't come out to see you, you're probably not high on their list. You're an option, but you're not a priority. And I just take it back to my days when I was looking for a date for the prom. I didn't want options. I wanted a priority. And so that's what you got to be looking for. And parents, you got to begin to look for what fits. Ask real questions to coaches. Where do you see my son? If playing right away is important to you, then ask that question. I'm going to tell you it's hard for a freshman to play right away. Not saying it won't happen, but if that's what's important to you, ask that question. Is winning important to you? Has that program been a consistent winner? And don't just base it off the year before, right? Because I know this is a real outlier factor, and I'm going to go Division I, right? Well, the year before, Virginia won the national championship. They lost in the first round, the first 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed, right? So you can't base it off the year before. Look at the longevity of it. Like you look at Villanova, and Jay Wright just retired, but like that program has a constant success. Yes. Gonzaga hasn't won the big game yet, but you're always talking about them every year. So you got to remember those things when you're looking at places. If that's what's important to you, value what's important to you. We tell people here at Voorhees, if you're looking for a big city, if you're looking for fancy facilities like Kentucky, Louisville, Georgia Tech, then we're not the place for you. But if you're looking to get better, you're looking to win, and you're looking to become a part of a family, then we're the place for you.
Hey, Coach, there was a pretty wise man by the name of Uncle CY. Is what we typically call them. That reminded me when it came to recruiting that he would tell kids that you can't take bushes and buildings with you.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't make your college decision based off of bushes and buildings. And that is a hilarious way to say that, but a very real scenario none the least, that you don't want to make your decision off of buildings that um, it's one thing to have. I'll say it like this: working with athletes, coach, it's one thing to have access to a facility or access to a gym, but if you walk in there and no one's there to help you, if you don't have that relationship with your coach, um, how effective are you going to be in that fancy building with all those things and you're by yourself? Um, there's a decision. There are a lot of decisions that a lot of factors that go into making your college decision. But like you said, if family is important and having that circle of trust being close by, Voorhees is definitely a excellent opportunity. Um, Man, let's talk about this, Coach. Let's talk about being a star in your role and what that means to you guys as a staff and as a university.
Man, it starts with us, man. Just like we talked about, what's your why? Why do you want to come to Voorhees? And once you get here, being a star in your role. And I think that sets you up for life, man, not just for the basketball court, but we want you to be a star in your role. We want to leverage their uniqueness, whatever that young man is. We want to leverage their uniqueness here. We know who they are. That's why we're recruiting them, or that's why they're here. So we want them to be a star in that. We don't want them to change who they are just because we got them. Okay, you were a shooter. We knew you could shoot the basketball, but now we want you to be, pounding the basketball. We want you to be down in the post. No, be a star in your role. And for us, what a star means offensively, it means spacing. Basketball is full of spacing. You get more space in the NBA because you got the 3-second count. The three-point line is a little bit wider. The floor is spaced. But in college basketball, that spacing comes from a lot of ways, and a lot of that comes down to shooting. A lot of that comes down to actions, which then gets to the timing of it. What's your timing? What's your pace of everything? We talk about angles a lot. Coach Jay works with our posts. Coach I works with our guards about angles and how you're attacking it. And if you're a Kobe Bryant fan or fanatic, you know how important angles were to him. And this is about rhythm. What's that rhythm? You can go. We do a leadership series with our guys even now as we're leading up into the season every Wednesday, and we dig into them. They dig into us as coaches, and we were able to bring NBA scout on just to talk to them about what it takes to get to the next level, being a pro, if that's what they want to be, right? And so we talked about rhythm, and you can go put 3 hours in the gym, but that don't mean you got anything done. All right, what's the rhythm to it when you're going in that gym? Is it productive? Is it, a lot of people talk about game speed, and yes, that's right. But is it a speed where you're getting better, you're getting the right kind of reps, and you're making progress, not only just so you can be a better basketball player, but also based off what kind of system you're in. So if you have a trainer or whoever is working you out, they've got to know, what kind of system you're in, what kind of things that your college team is doing. If you're playing in a Princeton offense and you think you're gonna be pounding the ball the whole time as a guard or wing, you messing up that workout. That needs to be half the workout, but you better work on some pin downs and some footwork stuff.
Hey, that 7 dribble combo might not work too well in that Princeton offense.
I don't know if that's gonna work in any offense, but hey.
But Coach, and it's wild that you were the first person to tell me of hey Dre, you do know that at every high major school, the coaches aren't doing player development. And I was like blown away. He was like, no, yeah, a GA might do it or somebody else might do it, but it's not always the coach. And I think that's something that a lot of parents and a lot of people don't understand. When you have somewhere like Voorhees where the coaches are hands-on with your player development, you have to understand that if that's something that you need, if that is important to you and that's something that you need, it's a tremendous upside to know that, my head coach, my assistants are going to be right there with me, developing me for my role on this team and in this system. Man, you can't beat it.
It's been beneficial for us. As they say, numbers don't lie, analytics don't lie. You can see it in our numbers, how our guys have gotten better year to year, guys that have been here from one year to the next. And that's what we're going to continue to do, and even do it on a better basis. And when you go back to do those college coaches and maybe at bigger levels, work with those guys, yes, they do, but they have so many people on that staff. You know, if you go to a high major Division I staff, they have a director of player development. Like, that's his job to get those guys better. So he may not spend a whole lot, or an assistant coach or a head coach is not going to be able to spend as much time as I will, because we don't have that. That's our job too here. We don't have a double. That's our job too. You know, we don't have a chief assistant to the head coach. All that falls into all our jobs. But at a Division I level, they're blessed. You know, there's no shot against them. But you get different people that are able to fall in different roles.
For sure. Coach, I just want to check in. We talked about a new motto for the team this year. We got a new motto, is no ego. Check in with us on this, Coach. Tell us what this no ego mantra will be for this coming basketball season.
You know, I think part of the reason, you know, I'm always straightforward, transparent. Part of our reason goes back to knowing your role, understanding we over me. And I think at times we struggled with that last year for various reasons. And so our job as we went into recruiting, as we went into building our team, was making sure we had guys here and guys that were coming here that had no ego, which means whatever I have to do, I'm willing to do to get it done for the brother that's next to me. So that means we don't want to edge greatness out, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you really think about that, if you're trying to get to the next level, like other than one or two people on each team, you know, let's look at, I'll just take the Lakers. So we know what LeBron and Anthony Davis is going to be every night, but everybody else has to play a role. Well, what's that role? What's Pat Beverly's role right now? What's Russell Westbrook's role right now? Even though he's been this type of player before, what are their roles right now? So we don't want to make sure we don't have any egos. Everybody that comes into a college team probably was the man on their high school team or next to the man. So they've got to understand the role that they're going to play now, right? So no egos, and obviously being a part of the Episcopal Church, being an Episcopal school here at Voorhees, we don't want to edge God out. And even though we have players that, you know, are not Christian, so it's really just whatever they believe in, we don't want to edge that out. And we want to develop that too. That's part of our player development, is helping them reach that spiritual growth as well as that mental growth inside them.
Outstanding, Coach. I want to have a check-in on just some of the guys, some of our returning guys, some of our favorites. Can we talk about, you know, Coach, a couple of guys that have, like you mentioned, have really worked hard, been in that weight room, maybe been on the track, getting extra shots up. Who are some of the guys as we approach the official start of practice? Who are some of the guys that you feel like really put the off-season work in to get better? I'm sure everybody did, but who are a couple of guys that you feel like stood out?
But I think with our returners, you're going to see a definite difference. You know, we got beat up in the post last year, so I'm going to start there. Playing two freshmen a lot, Omari Joseph and Fred Spells. You're not going to see the wide shoulders and strength of Fred, like just because he's now cut up, but he's been in that weight room working. He said he wasn't going to get pushed around anymore, and you can see that development in him. With Omari Joseph, you can see the development in everything with him. Just how he took last year as a growing pain, as a freshman, even though he transferred from another school but didn't play, like he now understands what it takes. And so you're going to see that with him. There's a next level, you know, if we start to get to our guards and wings, there's a next level Hector Rosario has went to. He also was one that took last year as a slap in the face. You know, if you look at him being an All-American year one when he was here to last year, if you look at his numbers, they didn't change. But his impact and efficiency changed based off those numbers. People were now game planning differently for him, and they wanted to be more physical with him. And so he understood that, and he took that weight room as a challenge, right? You're going to look at Jordan Blue's body, and you're going to say that guy has changed his body. Like, he's physically more imposing than what he was last year. You're going to look at Christian Ford, who second half of the year last year played significant minutes for us, now understanding exactly where he needs to be and how his body has begun shaping to become that college basketball player. Keyshawn Fleeton, you're going to see that athleticism as he always has had, but now the concept of the game is slowed down for him to do some more things on the floor. And you'll see getting Terrell Wyndham back on the court. People take that for granted. Like Terrell had knee surgery in November and we didn't have him. If he wasn't our best or second best shooter next to Taiwan Bowie, you missed him being on the floor. You got to remember, previous year, he's hitting 7 threes in a game. You're like, that wasn't on the floor for us last year. It's back this year. And that's a blessing. That's a testament to us. And he's a leader for us. He's a really big leader for us. And you look at Troy McCant, he's coming into his own. Dealt with a lot last year as a freshman, trying to understand everything about college basketball. But he's another one that took advantage of the weight room. Those guys after the season, man, that's where it started. They didn't want last season to happen again this year. And again, in college basketball, there are no guarantees, but there are certain things you can do to help prevent that. And one of those things was us getting in the weight room, us being even better than we were last year. And that started in the weight room, and it is carried over right now.
That's great to hear, man. Christian Ford is definitely the guy that I'm coming to see. Big time player. I think he's going to have a really big year this season, coming out this season. There are some guys, Coach, and I'll just say this, and I said it about another kid that I coached AAU this past year. The coaches that were recruiting him, I just reminded him that Christian Ford was a kid that graduated school early in regards to age, right?
Yep.
Traditionally. I had another kid from Middle Georgia that did the same thing. And I said, Coach, he just needs to be coached, right? They're so young, and they're even age-wise, and then basketball-wise, they may be even younger, right? In terms to everything that you're going to get from a development standpoint to a coaching standpoint at the college level, that, man, in year 2 and in year 3, those types of kids, they just explode. And I think Christian Ford is going to be one of those kids that really explodes onto the scene.
And it's funny you mentioned that. Again, going back to this leadership series, man, we want to dive more into our guys. That's very purposeful for us. Like knowing everything about them, if that's a term you want to use.
For sure.
But in that understanding that Christian Ford was a football player before he was a basketball player.
Yes.
Like, and he will tell you that basketball took shape later because he was playing football earlier. Yes. And then he stopped playing football, and that's when basketball took off. So he's not one of those guys that, well, I've had the basketball in my hand since I was 5 years old. Like, no, it didn't go like that. But he's developing to that player, and that light just keeps clicking. It keeps clicking. It keeps clicking for him. Absolutely.
Can't wait to see it on the court this year, Coach. Coach, and I know we didn't plan on talking about this. There may be no news, but I'll continue to check in with you on this. There's been a lot of conversation around conference realignment, a lot of schools moving around, bouncing around. Some of your former counterparts in the NAIA have now moved up, and they've gone on to – I watched Edward Waters and I've seen Allen compete in the SIAC. And one has to ask that Voorhees College is no longer Voorhees College, it is Voorhees University.
Right.
And performing, based on this right here, performing pretty darn well. Coach, when you see this, these statistics for Voorhees University now, some of your predecessors that made the change from college to university also jumped up to Division II and are now playing at SIAC. Do you think about it at all, Coach? Is there any conversations? Can I get any breaking news, Coach, on the show? If not, then we can just address what this graphic here means to you and Voorhees University.
Keep that graphic up. I'm going to come back to it. We love where we are. The competition is great here at NAI. We have some things that we want to continue to do here. So I will leave it at that. I will tell you our alumni, people on campus do miss, the times when even Claflin, Edward Waters, or Allen, we were all in the same boat and battling each other.
Yes.
But that comes in succession. And right now, we've got to take care of the place that we are in. We're in a great conference, although it's spread out. It's a challenge. Every day is a challenge, from your Florida colleges to your Washington Venices, your Haskells, your Fishers, your Bacones. I can keep going on down the list. Florida National, Northern Iowa. It's just, there are a lot of great schools that we have to play, and we never want to take them lightly. So we love where we are. We've got to continue to get better. Until we get better where we are, we can't talk about moving. But being better where we are is what our 10th president, Dr. Rodney Hopkins, always says, the next level of excellence. And we had convocation last week, and he talked about the next level of excellence is within us. And if you look at these numbers right here, the next level of excellence is within Voorhees University, the #1 best value of regional colleges in the South. Like, we're not talking about HBCUs. #1 best value regional colleges in the South. #3, social mobility regional colleges in the South. Number 26 of historically Black colleges, universities. So that means not just NAIA, we're talking Division I, Division II, NAIA, we're number 26, right? And then the number 23 regional college ranking in the South. So those numbers are something that we're very proud of here. Those numbers are something that our president, Dr. Rodney Hopkins, has come in and made sure that he's taken the mantra of Dr. Evans and taken it even further under his leadership. And he challenges us every day, like, to be better. To everything that we've got to do has got to be the next level of excellence. So we're proud of that here at Voorhees.
Tremendous job. The growth that I've seen from Voorhees since the time that you've been there over the last three years, 3 seasons, and to think that all this started during a global pandemic.
I know, right?
It goes from Voorhees being a school that I knew about, but only vaguely, to now has such a tremendous presence on social media. And we talk about all of these awards that now, best value for regional colleges in the South. Again, not HBCU schools, not NAI schools, best value for regional colleges in the South, period, point blank, right? It is just tremendous what Voorhees University has accomplished within the last 3 years. It's almost like you guys are moving at light speed.
Well, if you take it even further, enrollment, and I wish I could remember the exact, but I want to say it was, he gave 104% increase in enrollment than we had from last year this time. And like, he has a goal for 2025, like where we want to be enrollment wise. Because people, if you talk to alumni and you go back pre-pandemic, like 5 years pre-pandemic, and you talk about what enrollment was here at Voorhees, boy,
it's up there.
I'm going like, where were all these people staying? But they made it work, right? And so we want to get back there. There's some big things that are coming. We have new initiatives all around campus. Accreditation has never been a problem for us, and we just got ours extended or gotten, whatever you call it. I can't think of the name right now, but we're fully accredited, as we always have been. You never talk about Voorhees with money problems. Part of that is because, we've done a great job making sure we handle everything on our end. But another part of that is, our president going out and getting funding that helps us as well. As well as the Episcopal Church. So all those things play a part of it, man. And now here in year 3 of being here, there are even things right now that are different than when I first walked in. Like, I hate using back to normal, but having those chapel services and having convocation with everybody there. We just had an assembly today with all the students that was really engaging. Like, those things are things that, they call it Grove City here on Wednesdays, where the students get dressed up and it's fried chicken Wednesday and they dress to the nines and the calf. Like those things you can't talk about. You got to see it. Like
absolutely. I feel like now is a great time to mention.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are striving. We are striving. We are moving forward. We're coming for you, and we need you, alumni, friends, family, to join our Athletic Booster Club, our V Club. We have a great initiative going on with alumni right now, right? So I'm going to shout this out. One of our alumni, Tanya Martino, she started something with alumni. Voorhees was founded in 1897. So she asked alumni to give $18.97. She wanted 100 alumni to do that. Well, I'm not a math major, so I can't tell you what that's going to end up being. But once they got to 100, they're donating that to the V Club, and they're going to find companies to match that. They are 28 people away right now. And this just started maybe, I'll say 3 weeks ago, maybe. They are 28 people away. So if that's you, alumni, who just now hearing about it, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, go find her. She'll get that information to you. If you just want to donate to the Booster Club on yourself, that's there. Reach out to me, chuff@voorhees.edu. Go on our website. You don't even have to fill that out right there. You can do it on the website. You don't like, a lot of people don't have paper checks anymore, so you can do it right from your credit card. You can actually tell exactly where you want your money to go. And so to me, that's big because it's not all about basketball. It's not all about women's basketball. You can say, I want to donate $1,000, $500 to women's basketball, another $500 to athletics. Or I want to donate $500 to go, all goes to athletics. You can actually earmark where your money goes. And there are lots of benefits for you, especially if you have a business of getting shouted out during our live stream games on our radio station that's here in Denmark, that's housed right here in the gym. All those things are very big. Homecoming's coming. And I apologize, Dre, for not giving you that information that just came out. But November 6th through the 12th, let's get it. You need to be down in Denmark, South Carolina for homecoming. We're back, baby. It's open. We outside, as they say.
We outside. I love it. I also wanted to talk about this, Huff, when it comes to volunteers.
Yes.
What about people who may not necessarily have, the funds financially to give, but say, hey, I can give my time, my talent, my ability to the school. How can volunteers, people who just have some time on their hands to say, hey, I want to donate 3 hours a day to Voorhees University?
Man, we have so many initiatives where you can come back and speak to these great students. I was just in D.C. recruiting this weekend, ran into one of the all-time greats here that played basketball, two-time All-American here for men's basketball. And I just told him I wanted him to come back and be around the team. Just come speak. I don't need any money from you. Just speak to these guys of what it means to be a Voorhees Tiger, right? Even when we had our NBA scout on to speak to the team last night, I told them how he was connected to the Voorhees that they didn't even know. When he was a college coach, he sent a kid to Voorhees when he knew somebody else, right? Way back in the day. And a former coach, Sean Walker, was his teammate at Elizabeth City, another HBCU. So he already had a tie to Voorhees anyway, right? So those are the things, man. Him giving back to us, it didn't cost any money, right? And I'm sure every coach, every professor, every administrator, every faculty staff will surely appreciate you giving back just by coming to speak to these young men, these young women, because whether you know it or not, they have lived through a pandemic where for some of them, this is the first time, this is the first normal for them, because some of them didn't graduate high school with a normal graduation. No, we got to be realistic. Some of them are just now getting back to where, it's a real class while I'm sitting in class every day. Like, so they need somebody to talk to say, hey, I haven't been through that, but I've been through some other stuff. And let's talk about it, how you can get through and how you can become an alumni of Voorhees University.
For sure. You need to get that done. Make sure to reach out. Give your time, give your talent, give your resources, loose chain, everything. It all adds up and it all goes to a great cause.
As great as homecoming is, Don't just wait to homecoming to give.
For sure. We got action in the chat asking about the schedule. The schedule being released.
Schedule release will come out shortly, AP. That's our former assistant coach, Austin Pickett, who's doing great things with his company, 3-5 in Georgia. That's coming out soon. Schedule release is going to be here soon, man. And we want people in every city, alumni in every city, whether we're in North Carolina, whether we're here in our home state of South Carolina, whether we're in Florida, whether we're in Georgia. We go out to Arkansas for a little bit. Like, we want y'all there. Come out and see us play. You're going to like this group.
For sure. Coach, so much to talk about, but I know how important this is to you. Attaching yourself to the community, being out in the community, serving the community, being a part of Denmark and the surrounding area. I know how passionate you are about that. Let's talk about being able to pack the bus. Wonderful event that you guys have this year.
Year 2 of us doing this. Obviously, year 1 we didn't start till January. But when I got down here, I'm really big on community and how we can impact and be involved in the community. And I thought, Bamberg County is one of the lowest economic counties, if not the lowest, in South Carolina. Voorhees is actually the #1 provider of jobs in this county. So how can we impact this county and do something impactful and useful? And I thought, why not just give school supplies and book bags to the kids in this county and use the basketball team as a people passing them out? Well, that took on another level, and our athletic director, Charlene Johnson, said, well, let's get the school involved, because she's also the VP of Student Affairs. And so we got student ambassadors and other members of other teams to get involved, and we did it last year, and it grew even bigger this year, where the actual school, it's something we're going to do every year. And they go buy book bags so we can pass out all them. I mean, they were giving out flash drives. We were giving out flash drives, man. Like, how much a flash drive costs? Like,
right.
So we were in the Piggly Wiggly in Denmark and Bamberg, and we were there for 2 hours at each spot. And it's really big for us as a basketball team, because in reality, we have done nothing yet other than a team meeting. Like, when they first got here, that's the first event for them to get immersed into our community, for them to get immersed with each other, learning each other on how to serve someone else, not themselves. We're really big on servant leadership. So it's a big event for us. It kind of is the kickoff of our year here for our basketball team, and excited that we were able to give out supplies and run out, and give it away. And, I want to thank, a group that both of us are a part of, Embrace Us, for also, being a help to that. And we're just thankful, man. And we want to continue those things. And we're going to have some different things throughout the year. We want to continue to impact this community that we serve, because in turn, they've told us how important our games are. And now them being able to get back in that gym, we want them there. We want that environment rocking.
For sure. And that's what it's all about. I'm just imagining some of the young kids that get to get next to and touch and see some of those players in real life. You never know who you're impacting. The next great Voorhees Tiger could be right there in that line getting some supplies, and that really set the tone, whether they're an athlete or not, but wanting to attend the university and understand what the university means to the community. So amazing job, and definitely shout out to everybody that was involved with it. Coach, we talked about one of the things that are vital. I don't like to take this for granted, because not every school has their select and elite camps on campus. It is a very big deal and very useful. But let's talk about the what pushed you to desire to make sure that this happened at Voorhees, that select and elite camp would happen, and what is it that you're looking to get out of it each and every year when you have those students on campus?
Number one, it's an opportunity for these young men to get on campus and to see what we have to offer here at Voorhees. Like, they don't just come and play basketball or do drills, or we kind of put them through a practice a little bit of what it would be like to be a college athlete here at Voorhees. But they actually get toured on the campus by our admissions team. Like, this is a real opportunity to be on a campus. Like, they're talked about with the admissions people, what it takes to get into Voorhees. Forget athletics, what it takes to get in. Can you get academic money? Can I get a Can I walk away today on a Saturday or Sunday with an academic scholarship? Like, wow. That's big. Yeah. And we've had students that have done that regardless of whether they're going to play basketball. But when I got here, I thought it was really important for people to see what we have to offer in little old Denmark, period. And then you add the basketball on top of it. And we want them to see what Coach Jay offers, what Coach Zai offers, what we offer as a basketball program, how we can get you better. Take a look at our players. You know, our players were involved in both those things, helping them get better, right? But then seeing what it's like to be a college athlete. They got a chance to interact with those players. Like, what has it been like so far on campus? What's your day like, right? And then to go through a semi-practice, elite camp, you know, with drills and workouts, and you get to play some at the end. Like, this is a little bit of how practice is like. And then getting to go up against our guys a little bit, that's huge for them. And what we try to do is, we don't want 60 guys in the gym. We don't want 100 guys in the gym. We wanted 30 on each day. That was it. So now I can know that young man who walked in my gym. So when he emails me after, which we got, and said, Coach, this by far was the best elite camp I've been to because it was more personable. You guys knew who I was, and you were able to break things down for us. That's what we want. We don't want a money grab, and I hate to say it like that, but where we're just trying to run people in there and how much money can we make for our program? That's not what it's about. We really use this as an evaluation tool. Like, how does, if we're looking at 4 point guards, we want all 4 to come so we can evaluate and place them. Well, now I can see at a different setting other than AAU and his high school team, how does he play this way? Does he rise above someone else on that level, right? Does somebody at that elite camp stand out and jump onto our board that we never had? Or maybe we were unsure about. Those are the things that we like to look at our elite and our select camps, and we were able to do that. You know, that you go back to what's recruiting right now in September. Now you take guys from that camp or who you're going to watch, and you're trying to find out, hey, when's your high school workout period? You know, here in South Carolina, they have fall league. One of the big ones is the Glimpse League, right? So now is your team playing in the Glimpse League? We can go see them play again. So you're prioritizing where you're trying to go, who you're trying to go see. And that comes from Elite and Select Camp. And Elite and Select Camp, those people who we wanted to come came from watching them in April and May and June and July. All this is a process. It's just not just fly by night. Like, a lot of people think you just put it out there and say, hey, if you want to come, come. That's why we didn't accept walk-ups. We didn't want to, don't just walk up and say, hey, I want to come. Like, there had to be communication about you coming, making sure you're on the roster. I'm gonna be honest, we didn't go buy 100 jerseys so we could say, oh, walk-ups come. That's because it wasn't a money grab. We wanted people to have a legit experience of what they were looking for when they came here.
Beautiful thing. That also should tell a lot of parents who may be watching that the recruiting process is not what you think. Yeah, Coach from Voorhees saw you get 30 on one particular game, and it just because you didn't walk away with the offer from that game doesn't mean that the relationship or that the research is over. You just described April, June, July, and now in September, you're talking about August, September, you're talking about elite camp.
So that brings up a great point that my assistants and I talk about all the time. For us, I can't say for everybody else. We want to see you 3 times or more, because in those times, now we can truly have evaluated you and made our diagnosis. So, like, you get people like, well, you saw him once, and you sent me film via Twitter or a text to my phone. Like, I got to see that kid in person, number one. And I've got to see him more than once, because whether it's he played bad the one time I saw him or he played exceptional one time I saw him, I got to see him more than just that time, all right? For us to really try to say, is that what we want? And I think as coaches, trainers, parents, it's okay if a coach watches him and he doesn't get an offer, right? Mm-hmm. And I say that because we've seen some kids, but they're in a position we just don't need. And I go, man, that kid's really good. But that's where we as a staff will make a call. Like, hey, I don't know what you're looking for in recruiting, but you probably want to get on this kid right here. And then we're also honest with people that maybe we see somebody late in the game and we tell them the truth. All right, we have some guys that we've been watching longer than him. So just understand where he is, and we've got to continue to build that relationship with that young man and continue to evaluate him.
How often does that relationship piece dictate whether or not you offer a kid? How often is it, I like the kid, but when I talk to him, we just didn't click. The vibe wasn't there. Or when I talk to his high school coach, we're not really clicking. Or I don't really care for, how the AAU team runs and stuff. How much is it peripheral stuff that impacts that offer versus solely just what happened on the basketball floor at that moment?
Everything matters, man. For us, everything matters. We're really big on relationships. Like, it's not just about the 4 years they play here. It's about the 40 years. And so we have so many examples of that on our team right now. And a lot of it comes from guys who transferred to us, right? So you take a kid like Bryce Wilson. His dad is Byron Wilson, who's the head coach of Decula High School in Georgia. Mm. He was all freshman on all freshman team in his conference last year, right? Mm-hmm. They had a coaching change. This happened late, but because of our relationship, that's why he's here, right?
Gotcha.
Or you take Hector Rosario and Jordan Blue, who I coached in high school. Like, that's a relationship piece, right? So all those factors, when you started looking at relationships, like how well do you know the high school coach, knowing what they do, right? Mm. Is that high school coach part of their circle of trust that's going to help make that decision for them, right? Do you know a trainer? Like, what kind of vibe is a young man for our level? Is a young man using us to get more offers? And it happens. It's okay, right? We're trying to recruit guys that are better than this level anyway. So we understand that could happen, right? But we want to choose guys. We want to recruit guys that want to be us and want to leverage their uniqueness and be the change. And so it's got to be something about them and that relationship that we have with their circle and that kid themselves, that they're responding when we reach out to them via text, calls, whatever. Like, it's not just, man, he didn't text me back, right? And the last example I'll give you is Tyler Willoughby, who's a transfer guy that we got this year from Middle Georgia. And we recruited Tyler out of junior college, out of Chattahoochee Valley Community College in Alabama. And we lost out, point blank. I mean, we built a great relationship with him. We lost out. But when his JUCO coach called, because there was no that wasn't a tweet really put out or like that he was going, hey, I just want to let you know Tyler's going to be transferred. And it's not because he had a bad season. It's not anything like that, and we reconnected with that relationship. And as we got down to that recruiting aspect with him, he had a bunch of people on him. And it was in April. And we were talking about, listen, Tyler, like, we really want you. And we were honest. Like, we don't want to move to a different person without you saying yay or nay. Mm. And we don't want you to get stuck. And he said, well, Coach, there's this school that wants me to come up in May. Or it might have been late May. I can't remember. And I told Tyler, I said, do you want me to talk to you like I'm trying to recruit you, or talk to you like a man that's trying to give you great advice? I said, Coach, talk to me like a man that's trying to give great advice. I said, unfortunately, if that school's waiting that long for you, then you're just an option to them. Goes back to what we said at the beginning. You're just an option. And they're waiting on somebody else or other people before they fall to your option. And what you don't want to have happen is that you become not an option for them, and now we're off the table too. Or whoever else is recruiting you is off the table. Now you're scrambling. And he understood that. And I'm not saying that's the reason we got him, but I'm saying that's the kind of relationships that we want to have with our recruits.
Man, Coach, that's outstanding. We're going to take questions. We got Austin in here with another question. On a player personnel note, with Taiwan Bowie now being gone, who do you see stepping into that leadership role? I think I know the answer to that question, but Coach, go ahead, fire away.
I'll tell you, Terrell Wyndham, Rex, who we talked about, has taken that bull by his horn and been that vocal and leader to really charge this team about where we're trying to go. You look at other guys, Julius Phillips for our bigs has been a leader, and Coach Jay, if he's still on here, he might write a note. Like, he gets those guys going down there, and when they have or doing anything with the bigs, he gets those guys going. And then you look at how Hector just works. Like, his is more lead by example, right? Him and Tyler, they just lead by example. So we've got multiple guys, Austin, which I think is where we're a little bit different this year. Our leadership is better. You know, anytime you are a player-led team more than a coach-led team, you have a chance to do great things. And I think this team is more of a player-led team than a coach-led team.
Man, I love that. All the best teams are definitely player-led, more than people realize.
I mean, you go back, and I know we're talking about who some may consider the GOAT. You know, I think it just depends on what era of basketball you grew up in. Are you younger or are you older? But if you go back and you were watching The Last Dance, like, Phil did a lot of stuff, but that team was player. Like, if that team wasn't player-led, that would have been a revolt of letting Dennis Rodman go off to Vegas in the middle of the season. Like, they knew how to handle all that stuff, right?
Yes. Absolutely. But you know, hey, when you have a culture and you have players that have come up through your program and there's a culture in place, the coach doesn't have to micromanage. You know, last three minutes, last 5 minutes, game planning, things like that. Of course, the coach has his imprint on the game, and your responsibility is set the tone for that culture every day. However, but once that it's like almost like raising a kid. I think if once you've raised the child, wow, he's going to go out into the world and be, you know, what you've trained him to be. And I look forward to seeing that with this team.
And like I said, I'm always transparent, but I think that's where now in year 3 we're better. You know, you think because you win a conference in year 1 that culture is set in year 2. And you slightly lift your thumb off that culture because you think, well, I've got the pieces in place, guys won the conference. But you got to keep your thumb down on that culture piece because you got new guys coming in. And in reality, your culture piece is different than the previous coach's culture piece, no matter how good that coach may have been, right? And so because of that, no matter what guys in your program, they're your guys, but obviously it might not be a guy you recruited, right? So until you know everything relationship-wise about that guy, you got to keep your thumb pressed down on that culture piece. Even when you've got all 15, whatever guys that you recruited, you better keep your thumb on that culture piece. Now, I think a lot of the culture piece comes from relationship building. And Austin was with us last year, and I think we got caught up in trying to defend our conference championship, and we lost sight of some relationship pieces that we needed. And that's just me being real. I'm as real as they get. I can take the heat when I didn't do something wrong, and I'm going to defer and say it as everybody else, which it is, when we do something right.
Hey, man, can't get better than that. James is in here. Coach Williams, how are you, sir?
Do you know anything about the soccer meeting?
think it may be in the gym.
Okay. Thank you.
Day of a coach never stops. But Coach, we appreciate the time, man. It's been great. It's great catching up. We're definitely looking out for the season start. What is the first day for official practice?
35 days before your first contest. So that's September 23rd, I think.
35 days before the first official contest. Okay. So it gets to be different for everybody to a certain extent.
Well, NAIA changed it a little bit, and they wanted to go to a mandatory date. So there you have it.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking out for our Tigers here coming up here soon. Can't wait. Like you mentioned, homecoming there. We need everybody jumping in and being a part of the V Club, and give, man. And don't wait for homecoming to go. But
And don't wait for homecoming to come to a game. First official game. I can't let this out the bag, Austin. October 29th. Truett McConnell, Saturday. So you can't say, I got to go to work. It's in the middle of the day, so you can come and get back home. It's at 3 p.m. We would love to have you in Denmark, South Carolina. First Truett McConnell, a great program by Coach G, coming down to Denmark, South Carolina to play. And if you just want to stay another day, we play the very next night versus Kaiser here at 3 p.m. on a Sunday. So you can get back-to-back live action of your Tigers.
Hey, man, and we owe him one. We owe Truett McConnell, man. We owed him one. And it was a great game, well-coached team, great game. They got us right at the end. We had the game. Great team. I'll give them their props, Coach. But
hey,
we owe them.
Don't give me any bulletin board material now. Come on.
No. Great team, great. They played great. They were well coached. They played hard. Great sportsmanship by both teams. But they were in their place. Come to our place. And I will shout out to them for giving us the home and home, and you being able to negotiate a home and home with a team like Truett McConnell. And Austin Pickett saying, and Kaiser. So
we were on the road for both of those. So the fact that both of them are giving us a home and home and coming here is really big. Huge.
But that's our show. Appreciate you guys jumping in for season 3 of Voorhees Tiger Vision. We'll be back as we kick off our season of coverage. Be sure to lock in with us here on YouTube and on the Love of the Game Twitter and Voorhees Tiger Vision Twitter accounts. This is Mondre Allen, your host. We're signing off.